It's been great, and it's only just beginning.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It literally only just beginning.
I know, like Rob just said then, you think, where's that time gone? But it's 3 years. And what are we now? We're at under 12s. So for this team, if we can go all the way through, we've got another 6 years with them, up to under 18s.
Yeah, and if they want to continue into senior football.
If they want to continue into senior football, I can get my boots back out. And I'll obviously be captain. Hunter's going to have to give that armband back in, right? Because
if any of you have seen Hunter, that's never going to happen.
He's not having that armband. He can be vice captain. But so that depends if Jed's playing, because if Jed's playing, he'll have that armband. So he'll have the armband and Hunter will be vice captain. So
Hunter would never allow that, mate.
Do you know what? I'd love that. An open age team with all our kids that we've got now, and we can step back in.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm playing football.
I'd love that.
I will happily stand on the side and go, well done, Jed. But I can't.
Pass the ball!
Yeah.
No, we're lucky, and we've been really, really lucky about the kids that we've had in the team, mostly the parents. But yeah, I mean, it would be great. I mean, I don't see any of these kids leaving. I can't see it. The way they've been playing and the way they are with each other.
The way that we are now. I mean, we are, like we sort of touched on earlier on. We're in a very good phase in our team's life at the minute. In our season, we're in a very good position. We're looking like if we carry on playing the way that we're playing, there's a very good chance that we could win this league. And kids don't want to leave a winning team, especially a team like ours where we turn up to training, we put the work in, but we have a good laugh as well. I like to see myself as a bit of a class clown, and I have a great laugh with these kids. It's brilliant.
But they're having fun through all of their hard work and winning games. It's not just a case of make it fun. They're going to win. That's where they're going to get their enjoyment. They're getting it from the fact that they're working really hard in training, and then they're using all of that, putting it into the matches, and coming out with the results. Yeah. It's not just a case of turn up, play, hope for the best. It's they're putting that effort in. That showed for the last 10 games, and it's they're all right. We have been beating teams by quite a lot, and we are scoring more goals now, which is great.
Than I think we ever have done.
Ever.
Yeah.
I think, what was it I said to you the other day? I think it was like 17 goals in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Which is madness, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And like you say, credit to the kids for that. I think at the beginning of the season, I think we relied quite heavily on Hunter for the goals. And if Hunter turned up and he didn't score, then it was difficult to really see where the goals were coming from. And then I can't remember now. Did Ernie was obviously our goalkeeper,
and he hated it.
And
he hated being in goal, but he'd never admit it.
Yeah. But he was a good shot stopper.
He was good.
But then
Ernie, He still is.
Yeah, he still is.
Yeah.
But Ernie, he injured his wrist, didn't he? He cut his wrist open or his hand in the sea down at Southsea. So he couldn't go in goal for 6 weeks, and then he couldn't get the feeling back in his finger. So we was like, we need another goalkeeper, and that's obviously when Ollie came in. But Ernie wanted to keep playing, so we stuck him up front against Petersfield in that friendly. I think it was pre-season friendly. Must have been just before the season started then when he did that. Because
it was during the holidays that he did it. He cut his fingers.
He went up front, and I remember texting his mum after that game, and I said, "Do you think he'd like to play up front full time?" And I think she were a bit sceptical. She was like, "Oh, Kev, I don't know. I'll have to speak to him." And thankfully, he has stayed as an outfield player now, and he's played up front because he's really come good now. He's really got his confidence up, and he's learning that position really well for me. And now he's starting. I think he's our second top scorer.
Yeah,
now,
he is.
So he's starting to turn up every week and
he's catching. He's catching Hunter up, and then I think you think when Ernie first started, that boy could not kick a ball without
toe punting it,
and now he will take the net off with some of the.
It used to infuriate me how the kids had been playing for 2 years and they were still kicking the ball with the toes. And when they were scoring goals in training, I'd say that don't count. That goal.
You still
was
to the
disallowed.
now.
I still do that. Now,
Did you do it in a match while the opposite parents had a little moan about it?
I was running the line against. It was PvP. I was running the line against PvP, and I was obviously stood on the parents' side, and they beat us quite heavily that game. And one kid scored a toe poke, and I just shouted out. I said, "I don't count. Toe poke's it. Don't count." And one of the parents. I don't know if it were a parent because he were quite young. I think it might have been one of the older brothers or something. But he didn't half cop. He went, "You can't go around disallowing goals." I'm like, I didn't actually hear him, but Sam, one of our players' parents, he heard it and he had to go over and say, "Mate, he's just joking. Calm down."
Yeah, calm down.
But I mean, I'm glad that I irritated him. To be honest, I am. But yeah, going back to that point, what Jed made, like Ernie. Yeah, he used to toe poke that ball all the time, and now you watch that boy kick a ball. Jesus, he cannot.
He's taking the net off anyway when he has a shot, does Ernie? So,
but one thing I will say with that is, Ernie's one of these again who you won't find him sat indoors. As soon as he's home from school, he's out on that field playing football every night, and I think he must have watched a lot of football because he always turned up when he was playing in goal for us. He always used to turn up in his Man City kit. I think Man United beat Man City one weekend and he came in a Man United kit the week after. But
he did.
Less said about that, the better. But he used to turn up in his Man City kit. So he used to watch Ederson on Match of the Day or whatever. And you could see it in his gameplay then, the way that he shaped up to try and kick the ball and the way that he played the ball out. And you think, he's imitating. Yeah, he's imitating the way that Ederson kicks that ball, and I think that obviously helped him. And he can't half strike a ball now. That boy. It's
development again. It's just mad.
Yeah, and it's them getting older as well, isn't it?
More confident and believing in themselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that natural sort of. They're just finding themselves, aren't they? Their
natural
sort of bodies are changing. Yeah, their bodies are changing. They're getting older and they're playing football. Things are sort of falling into place. That coordination that you talked about earlier on is starting to sort of click in. Yeah, and I think they all sort of they do it at different times, don't they? I think some of them we still look at their coordination and think,
like you say, it'll come to them all at different times in their life. Some people it comes to them a lot earlier, and obviously gives them a bit of
advantage,
an upper hand, really, exactly. Especially in grassroots football. You know, like you say, the ones where it comes very early on, they're normally playing for JPL teams and academy teams, and you know it takes some of the others a bit of time to catch up. But yeah, we're finding that all out at the minute. But they're doing well. They're doing really well. Really happy where we're at. Yeah.
I mean, the under 12s they've been brilliant this season. Like I say, started strong, had that little blip, and then they've just hit the ground running and they've carried on. Hopefully they get promoted and be up in that B League. It's going to be
tough because there are some tough teams in there. You look at that B League now, and you have got the likes of PvP are in there, I think I thought they'd walk that league.
I did as well. Yeah,
I thought they'd walk that league, and I think they've lost a handful of games. I think they're sat in maybe 4th or 5th. So it doesn't look at the minute. I mean, I don't know how the rest of the season will pan out, but it doesn't look like they're going to go up to that A League. So if we did go up, you know, they'd be one of the teams that we'd have to face. And
we'd have to step up.
Even Bishop Waltham, you know, I think the last time we played them, we beat them. That's the only time we've beaten them.
Yeah, it was the first time.
We were fantastic.
And it was only by one goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think we beat them 2-1, but we were fantastic that game. They obviously started in our league this season. They won their first 6 games by
massively
stupid scorelines. They got moved up. And this is another thing with the leagues. They moved up, so they might have won 6 games in our league. They had 18 points. They got moved up to the B League and started on 0. Right, so they're in a competitive league. I get it. They were too good for our league. I get it, but it's a competitive league. Like if they're going to win the league, so be it.
And I think we've all agreed on that, don't we?
If they're going to win the league unbeaten all season, record goals scored, then so be it. You know, but to take that opportunity away from them, put them in a higher league against better opposition, take all the points away from them, and now you've got the top of that league might have been on 15 points by that point. You've got a 15-point gap to make up. with 6 games less to do it in of the season.
Well,
Where's the competitiveness in that?
Well, look at Crofton, who's come down.
same
Bishop
with them.
Waltham went up, Crofton went down, and Crofton have to play double headers for the rest of their games now.
Yeah, one of them being us next week.
Yeah,
next weekend.
because of the move. It's
And again,
That's a lot of pressure, isn't it? To
A
play
lot of pressure.
double-headed
It is.
games,
And-
like week in, week out. That's a lot.
And and then it goes back to that, the kids' heads dropping and being disappointed. I think Crofton have struggled to win a game since they've come down.
yeah.
I don't
they
know.
haven't.
I don't know if that's because they've lost players or what. We've not played them yet this season, have we?
No.
But yeah, the pressure on them to. I mean, you imagine going out playing a double header against a team who's top of the league and losing that first game 10-1, 10-0. And then you get 10, 15 minutes to go and have a chat with your coach, have a drink, and then, right, lads, you're going back out now, you've got to go and do it again. And, like your head's going to be scrambled, isn't it, after that?
Yeah.
But they've struggled this season. But again, they've been at a disadvantage because regardless of their position in the B League that they were in, if they'd have had 6 points, they've come down to the C League and they've had all them wiped away from them. You've got to start again from scratch.
It's madness, isn't it? I don't understand
I don't
why.
get that. To me is the competitive side. This is competitive football this
Yeah.
season. If the league have screwed up and put people in the wrong leagues, your chance to move them has gone now because, Bishop Waltham have gone up. They might never win a trophy in the next 6 years. They might never win a league. They might go up to the B League, finish mid-table, and then 3 of their best players leave. They get relegated next season. And then they just tread water in the C League. They might get near the top. They might. That could have been their only chance for those group of kids to win a league winners medal, and they've had it taken away from them by the league by going, "Go on, up you go." But we're having your points. We're taking your points away from you.
For me, it just doesn't. If it doesn't make sense, I think we all agreed that when it was competitive,
Yeah.
you keep your teams
it.
in the league,
Yeah.
and if you win, you go up. Or top 2 go up, bottom 2 go down. Just why are you moving people up so early on in the season? You're not really gonna. How can you call it competitive football?
But it's not, is it? And you get that in the professional game as well. You might have. I think when Wolves went up from the Championship, they were obviously they had a massive cash injection. They had a bit of an advantage on the rest of the teams in the Championship because they were signing players like Ruben Neves, who previous season were captain in Porto in the Champions League, and now he's going to play in the second tier of English football because they can afford to pay him. But that gives them an advantage. But the rest of the teams, there's nothing you can't say, "Oh, we'll just move them up." Then it doesn't work like that. Just move them up so we get a chance to win the league. No, they'll go up. Your chance will come when you strengthen and you get better, and it gives you a bit of a motivation to get better.
Yeah,
and I think that's where we do quite well. We all agree. We're all of the same sort of mindset that we all want to get better. We all want our kids. We want to push them. We want to work on it with them.
And we want to get promoted based on
merit.
Exactly. Based on the merit and how we've played this season. So the league did put us actually in the B League to start off. And obviously I said to him, you put us down last season, so
they
why
moved us
have you
down.
then just put us straight back up? You put us down for a reason. Let us stay in the C League. Let us play our season out, and if we're good enough, we'll happily go up. Because we have seen some teams who have asked to go into lower leagues simply to win games, but we're not going to mention them.
And that team is top of the league that they're in.
Yeah,
and it should have been in the higher league.
Yeah.
So it just shows you.
But then there is another team that asked to go in a lower league, and they wanted to go in a lower league so they could win it, and they're struggling.
Yeah, they're struggling.
They're struggling, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
So
that's.
But I think based on what you said there, Jed, I think it was the right decision as well to keep us in that C League because
it makes sense, doesn't it?
Although we're in a good position now, we had a shaky start. We had teams in. We've lost games in this league. We're not wiping the floor with everyone. We haven't wiped the floor with everyone. We have got 3 losses on our on our account this season. So,
It's
do you
been
know what
competitive.
though? The only one that we need to return the favour to is the game tomorrow, isn't it? Because we lost to Stubbornton, we lost to Bearsden, we beat both of them.
We've redeemed both of them,
yeah,
Massively.
and massively, yeah.
Mm.
beat them on aggregate.
yeah. And then Warsash is the next one that we
yeah.
need to rectify that loss from last time. So, but could you imagine if we'd started in the B League this season with the team that we had compared to the team that we have now? I would happily move our team up now and play in the B League in comparison to what we had at the beginning of the season.
I think, and yeah, I mean, I don't think we mean just by the players either at that. It's the mentality that they had.
Yeah,
because we said it in training.
Well, even our training's changed, isn't it, now, with regards to the structure and stuff.
A couple of weeks ago, and I remember I said to the kids, I said, can you lot notice a difference in the training that we're doing now to the training that we did when we were losing those games, when we went through that sort of period of sort of 6 weeks where we struggled and we were losing games and drawing games? And I think they all agreed that not just the training, but the way that they're approaching training now, you know, their attitude towards training, they're turning up ready to work and wanting to work. Don't get me wrong, there's still work to be done there because where they've just started secondary school, my little lad in particular, he will turn up because he's gone to a different secondary school to a lot of his mates, so he's not seeing them every day now, and he will turn up and he will want filling in on the gossip and the chats about what's going on in their lives and stuff. But you know,
which is okay,
which is fine.
But there's a time and a time place.
Yeah, when we're switching on, and we want to work. But that being said, the mentality that they are bringing to training now has just gone up tenfold from the beginning of the season when we went through those rough few weeks. So credit to them, doing brilliant.
Yeah, and they've taken it on board, haven't they? They obviously we set out that you have to come to training in order to be considered to start the game.
Start the game, yeah.
And I think they've all taken that on board and gone, oh God, if I don't go to training, I might not start, or I'm not going to be guaranteed to play as many minutes as, you know, and like fair play to them because, like we said that sort of earlier on, they are at training. There's not often that we don't have all 14 of them there ready to go.
Yeah.
And
they've made it difficult for us as coaches as well in that respect because when, you know, we've always said we're not picking kids on based on ability.
No, based on merit.
You don't walk into this team because you're the best player there.
100%.
You get picked for this team to start on a Saturday by the attitude that you're showing and the work that you've been putting in training. Was it last week? Widbrook, Dom started.
Yeah,
and
but he'd
Dom
worked
started
hard, didn't
because he has been working extremely hard every week at training for the past however long. You know, he will turn up and he won't mess about. He will put that effort in, and he got his reward. He started and he was fantastic that game.
Yeah, he was. He got man of the match, didn't he?
He did, and he was a big part of, you know, what I'm considering goal of the season so far.
Yeah, everything about it.
You'll have to
amazing.
go and check our YouTube for that. It was just a fantastic team worked.
Yeah,
goal,
straight from the back all the way to the front.
It was,
it's
they
brilliant.
played
out
it.
to the wing.
I think they took the ball off the attacker.
Yeah, one in the centre, didn't
they stopped an attack, you know. And then they passed it between 3 or 4 of them. Played a through ball down to Dom on that wing. And that kid is quick. He's like a gazelle. Like you watch that boy go, he's like a gazelle.
Roadrunner, isn't he?
And he got down to that byline, clipped in a beautiful ball to that back post, and Hunter bullet header at that back post. It was like poetry in motion.
I think I must have replayed that goal at least 100 times. I just kept watching it back and back. And it's not even right. So Hunter's my son, and he did score the goal, but you know it's the whole play.
It was,
everything about that goal.
It was beautiful,
and just the way it was created, the way it was finished was just. I think all of us literally were just talk about excited is.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you know
You've got
what?
like 3 little schoolgirls on the sideline. You can hear us giggling on them videos.
Yeah.
But even the Whitbread manager himself, if you watch the video back,
Yeah.
You watch
and you
him.
keep him, he literally just sort of turns away and just
He turns away,
That's,
gives the nod of approval.
it was quality. It was a quality finish, and that's
Yeah.
all the stuff that we've worked on in training.
Mm.
And it's lovely to see them take it on board,
100%, yeah.
put it into a game scenario, and do that.
Yeah.
And it's that's the reason why we do this, isn't it?
That is the biggest win for me as a coach. You know, I do this because I started doing this because I wanted my kids to play football, and
Yeah, that's it, right.
I'll be honest, I think I'm a bit of a know-it-all. And when my kids were playing football, I thought I'm telling them what to. I remember when I started playing football when I was a kid, like. It was different then, you know. You didn't have the respect barriers and the coaches on one side and the parents on the other
The
side.
parents stood right next to the manager telling them what to do.
Yeah, I remember every week I played, we'd come off at half time or whatever, and I'd look over at my dad, and my dad he'd motion me over, and my dad would tell me what to do. My dad and I'd go for my debrief with my dad, not so much the coach, and you know, I just thought I don't want to be that parent who's doing that. Like, you know, I'll just start coaching, and I'll be able to tell him that way. Yeah, I'll do it from there.
You got the initials on your jacket, Kev. That's what it was, wasn't it? Like me.
So that was a big thing for me starting coaching. I wanted to be in there. I wanted to be teaching the kids my way of football, you know, and how I like to play football, and you know, I just thought I'll make you better footballers, don't you?
But it's worked though, isn't it? It has worked, and I think we've got to give a shout out to our parents as well, because they've given a lot of trust in the three of us to,
definitely.
to do what we do without them interfering. They come along, they cheer on the kids, and that's pretty much it, innit? They don't coach because they know exactly that.
I think they trust us.
Yeah,
they trust us, don't they? And a big thank you to them for putting that trust in us, because it can't be easy. I know it wouldn't be easy for me to let somebody else coach my. I don't know if I could do it. Like I'd be a nightmare.
Well, I think we take it in turns,
I'd
coaching
be a
each other's
nightmare.
kids, don't we?
Yeah.
I think we have to sometimes. We have to take the pressure off.
On that point, I think you're absolutely right there, because sometimes I notice, especially with Elliot, me and Elliot are very similar, and you know, we clash, and he won't listen to me. There's some times where he just point blank won't listen to me. So it is better and easier for yourself or Rob to go, and you could say the exact same thing as what I'm saying to him. I could be telling him to do something and he just won't listen. But if one of you two go and speak to him, then he'll take it on and he'll listen. And that sometimes it's just because it's your dad that's telling you that, you're not listening. You're, you know, especially with Elliot, it can get into a bit of a huff with me, and that's it. It's just like, nah, I'm not having it. But coming from somebody else from a different angle, maybe.
Yeah, because
that really helps.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Lottie just thinks I'm having a go at her, even if I'm saying,
well, especially
you've done well. It's
especially with you, Rob, because with Elliot, I know me and Jed are quite similar. We're quite vocal.
Yeah,
you know, we do like to sort of shout and stuff. And I think where you're quite calm, I think Elliot responds well to that. He don't respond well to me. He never has done.
Yeah,
but having that diversity between us three as well really helps. That
that's what made it work.
All them points covered.
Yeah, I think I don't want to big head or whatever, but I think I've done it for such a long time now. Where when I first started, I was an assistant coach for Riley's team, my son, and I grilled him every single week. Every week he was on that pitch. I didn't care about anyone else who I was coaching. All I cared about was what Riley was doing and if he was doing it right or not. And then I had the opportunity to start my own team with my daughter, and I thought, I can't be like that for her. Maybe it's because she's a girl, maybe, I don't know, but it completely changed me. And I knew what I'd done wrong with Riley. Like you said with Elliot, you live and you learn. And I coached her, and I started getting to know other players and knew what made them work and what made them develop. And I think that was it. I sort of now I take a seat back from the coaching, which has benefited the club. I think that's what works. Like I said to you, I think we all have we bring different things to the table, and I think how our coaching is now changed has massively developed the team. And I think that's what you got to do. You go to your strong points, and you do develop in different ways.
I think with that as well, like you said, like just mentioning taking a step back, I think when maybe 2 years ago, maybe even as little as 12 months ago, but there was a point where I think we were, as you know, us three were still learning as well.
Yeah.
And we were still trying to get used to our positions in this team. Like you can't have, like Rob said, you can't have three coaches all sort of doing the same thing, all shouting at once,
screaming.
And I think we have done that before, where we've all three of us have been giving direction, and we've been talking to the kids
all at the same time.
The kids just go, what? And it's just too much. Like, you've got to. My wife's very good at reminding me that these kids, their brains don't work like ours do. They're not there yet. They're not fully developed. They can't take on all that information. So I think we're at such a better point now as a sort of coaching partnership that we know now, like, you need one voice. Like, if Jed's talking and he's directing and he's telling them one thing, I think we know then we'll just step back a little bit, and then we'll have our little input. Then if I'm saying something, then it's the same. If you're saying something, Rob, then it's the same. So I think we've obviously learned in that respect and grown as coaches, whereas before we might just be screaming all sorts, and the kids are just doing like spins and tornadoes, thinking, what is going on here? Like,
I think we were trying too hard, weren't we, at the beginning? We wanted to provide something that was so good, that we almost just got a bit too excited, and we were all trying. Maybe it's because we wanted to win. I don't know, but it's definitely. I say it's mellowed out. Obviously, it hasn't, because we still have that pressure on the kids to do well and perform and work hard. But it's a different. We're putting it across in a different way now.
I think even back then, all three of us might have been saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But maybe in slightly different ways. We were still trying to get the same point across.
Yeah.
But in our own different way of saying it.
Some getting more excited than others.
But it just didn't work for the kids, and I think now, everything is a little bit more relaxed, and they're taking on the directions a lot easier, because they're only getting that one voice across, one voice at a time.
Yeah, and it works.
Yeah,
it's definitely working for them, isn't it?
Yeah.